trying to stay on top of everything happening with AI, it feels like a constant race, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you look at a place like China, where things are moving so incredibly fast,
Yeah.
it can feel like, well, information overload.
Absolutely. The pace of development, both the tech itself and, the policy around it, it's just relentless.
Yeah, that's precisely why we're doing this deep dive today. We're focusing specifically on AI trends and policies, really from a China perspective.
Right.
And we've gathered a really diverse set of sources for you, everything from official reports, People's Daily, Xinhua, Liberation Daily,
Mm-hmm.
to analyses from places like AI Strategy Insights,
Yeah.
expert opinions. We've got Zhang Yaqin, Zhang Bo.
G-figures, yeah.
Exactly. And even the latest buzz from industry giants like Microsoft, NVIDIA,
Mm.
even the EU's plans. So we're trying to give you that comprehensive view from government strategy right down to the cutting edge tech.
And that variety is so important, It lets us look at these AI developments from all sorts of angles. It gives a much richer, sort of more nuanced picture.
Exactly. Our goal today it's pretty straightforward. Pull out the most crucial insights from all this stuff and lay it out in a way that's clear, engaging, and maybe, gives you a few of those aha moments.
I'll flip.
Like, have you ever stopped to think how a country can be pushing hard for AI in schools while also dealing with global chip shortages? It's complex.
It really is.
Or how the whole idea of a digital employee might be changing, like fundamentally, thanks to AI coming out of China. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's really get into China perspective.
Okay, where should we start? Maybe AI in education. The People's Daily reported on this pretty significant initiative.
Yeah.
It's called the Opinions on Accelerating the Advancement of Digital Education. And get this, it was jointly issued by 9 different ministries, including the Ministry of Education.
And 9 ministries. Wow. That definitely signals it's a serious, coordinated national thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what's the core idea? What are they trying to achieve?
Well, the main goal, pretty much, is to use AI to really transform the education system. It's about supporting China's ambition to become, a strong education nation.
Okay, transforming education. Big goal. But what does it actually look like on the ground? What are the key things they're focusing on?
There are several key bits. First, a big emphasis on digitally upgrading what they already teach disciplines, professional fields, in universities.
So not just adding tech courses, but rethinking the fields themselves for a digital age.
Exactly. And alongside that, they're proactively planning completely new digital-related fields in higher education, really trying to get ahead of the curve for the digital economy.
Right, anticipating future skills. Makes sense.
And it's not just universities. Vocational education is getting a dynamic adjustment, too.
How so?
To meet the needs of digital transformation in areas like advanced manufacturing, modern services, making training much more responsive to what industry actually needs right now.
That industry link feels really crucial. What about research? How does AI fit into that side of education?
AI is seen as a major driver for changing how research even happens. The idea is to use it to drive changes in research paradigms, improve how research is organized, make getting research out into the world more efficient,
Okay.
and also fostering new and interdisciplinary fields, things that might not emerge otherwise. AI can connect dots, basically.
Like a superpowered research assistant.
Kind of, yeah. They also talk about improving knowledge graphs, really organized information networks, and building competency maps.
Competency maps, like what skills you need for specific jobs.
Pretty much. And crucially, deepening the application of educational large models, AI models specifically for learning.
Interesting. Educational large models, like AI tutors or something broader.
Could be tutors, but it's broader. It's about intelligently upgrading everything, curriculum, teaching materials, the whole teaching system, integrating AI across the board, and even promoting the integration of, say, science and tech education with humanities, trying to break down those silos.
That could lead to some really interesting cross-disciplinary stuff. What about the existing digital platforms, like their national education platform?
Yeah, big focus there too. Enhancing the intelligence of the National Smart Education Public Service Platform, making it more open, more interactive, innovating resource formats.
So better recommendations, easier access?
Exactly. Personalized, intelligent recommendations, better resource management overall. It's a really comprehensive plan, weaving AI into education from schools right up to research.
Sounds incredibly ambitious.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Liberation Daily highlighted something they called a landmark turning point in China's AI for 2025. DeepSeek releasing its R1 large model and open sourcing the weights. That sounds like a big deal.
Oh, it is. Huge deal. Liberation Daily compared its potential impact to, like, when microcomputers started replacing mainframes. Game-changing stuff.
Wow.
The open sourcing part is key. It massively lowers the barrier to entry, the cost for others to train and use these powerful models.
Right, democratizing it.
Yeah.
And they mentioned efficient inference on end devices. What does that mean practically?
It means these powerful AI capabilities can run directly on smaller devices. Think microcomputers, maybe even phones eventually, not just huge, expensive data centers.
Okay.
So DeepSeek is seen as breaking the stranglehold of needing massive computing power.
Yep.
It shifts AI from being a sort of luxury to being infrastructure.
Right, more foundational.
And potentially reshapes global competition through this open source approach, like
Yeah.
moving from needing a supercomputer to doing complex stuff on a powerful laptop, but for AI.
Got it. So it's not just building the models, but making them usable, affordable. The article also mentioned operating system level innovation and this wave of open sourcing and price drops. What's the deeper significance there?
It signals AI moving beyond just being a tool for specific tasks. It's becoming more like a foundational layer, almost like an OS that manages resources and connects services.
Okay.
And the open sourcing and price drops just accelerate that. More competition, faster innovation, new applications popping up quicker and cheaper.
Liberation Daily then talked about 3 key contradictions DeepSeek addresses. First, the tension between the high cost of computing power and the need for AI to be widely accessible. How does DeepSeek tackle that?
Through some clever tech. Model compression, things like knowledge distillation, pruning to make the model smaller, less demanding.
Right.
They also use in-memory computing, brings processing and data closer together for speed and dynamic quantization, which uses less precision for calculations without losing much accuracy. It's a multi-pronged attack on costs and computational needs.
Very smart engineering. Okay, the second contradiction. Technological closedness versus the huge diversity of real-world uses. How does open source help there?
Well, open source allows for way more customization. Closed systems struggle with all the niche, long-tail scenarios out there, specialized manufacturing, precision agriculture, you name it.
Right.
By opening up the core models, DeepSeek lets a whole community build on top of them for specific needs. You get more specialized apps, better hardware compatibility, beyond just the high-end stuff. It's kind of like the Android model for AI, fostering a bigger ecosystem.
An Android model for AI. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And the third contradiction, AI is just a tool versus AI as fundamental infrastructure. How is DeepSeek pushing that shift?
Their vision is AI evolving from a simple plugin to an operating system level gateway. Meaning AI acts as an intelligent agent orchestrating resources, connecting services, think natural language interactions, smart resource scheduling across devices, even self-evolution through federated learning where models improve locally and share updates anonymously. It's about deeply integrated self-improving AI becoming fundamental.
Wow, that's a good vision. What about the economic and social impacts? Liberation Daily mentioned businesses moving from owning tech to subscribing to services.
Exactly. Instead of huge upfront investments, businesses can access AI capabilities on demand, maybe even through no-code platforms. It helps smaller companies get in the game.
And for individuals.
It's a shift from just using functions on devices to an experience revolution. Smarter, context-aware devices, more personalized services that anticipate your needs.
Sounds potentially amazing.
Yeah.
But the article also wisely brought up the risks, right? The dual nature of AI.
Yes, absolutely crucial point. Huge potential benefits bridging gaps, education equality, maybe even lowering employment barriers, but also significant risks.
Right.
Algorithmic bias, misinformation spreading like wildfire, the whole complex human-machine relationship thing. It really highlights the need for strong, adaptable AI governance. We need guardrails.
Definitely. So strategically, what market opportunities does this DeepSeek approach create for China globally?
Liberation Daily suggests a few key ones. One, potentially dominating the open source AI scene by encouraging contributions, setting up funding. Two, shaping de facto global standards, maybe using national standards to influence international tech development.
Right.
And three, promoting Chinese AI capabilities globally through things like the digital Silk Road. It's about shaping the environment, not just building the tech.
Makes sense. And what about policy and regulation? What institutional innovations are needed?
Several things. Marketizing data elements, maybe through data banks, activating the value of edge data, dynamic risk management like the autonomous driving test zones, and really importantly, ethical audits for AI systems, responsible innovation.
They seem to be thinking very holistically: tech, data, regulation, ethics, the whole package. Liberation Daily finished with this interesting idea of China offering a new paradigm, an AI for good philosophy. What does that really mean?
It emphasizes a value-driven approach, using AI for inclusive growth, tackling global challenges, embedding ethical standards and sustainable development goals in open-source agreements.
So positioning AI development to serve humanity broadly, not just for national advantage.
Yeah. That's the vision, yeah. Shaping a global AI future focused on shared benefits and equity.
A powerful ambition. Okay, let's switch to another critical piece, the chips. AI Strategy Insights had a fascinating take on the NVIDIA H20 chip situation, framing it as a political game, reflecting intense market competition.
Indeed. The whole H20 saga, it really shows that intersection of geopolitics and critical tech, doesn't it? The report recapped the U.S. export controls starting back in October 2022.
Right, restricting China's access to advanced chips and manufacturing tech.
Exactly. And those controls have steadily expanded. Not just chips, but manufacturing equipment, support for Chinese semiconductor makers.
And then the framework for artificial intelligence diffusion in January 2025 broadened it globally.
That's right. Aiming to limit advanced AI chip exports even to countries not traditionally seen as close U.S. allies. A much wider strategic move.
A clear strategy to maintain U.S. dominance in this crucial tech sector. Now, the H20 chip itself, that was NVIDIA's attempt to work around these restrictions, wasn't it?
Precisely. It was customized for the Chinese market to comply with the U.S. rules. It uses the advanced Hopper architecture, but its peak computing power is deliberately cut down, significantly lower than the top-tier H100 or H200.
How much lower?
Some analyses say maybe only 15% of the H200's raw power, so a big step down.
Okay, a big step down. But AI Strategy Insights compared the H20 to domestic Chinese chips, like the Huawei 910B. What did that show?
It's nuanced. Interestingly, even though it's less powerful than NVIDIA's best, the H20 seems to have some advantages over current Chinese options like the 910B.
Such as?
Price, reportedly lower. Less raw power, yes, but significantly more memory capacity. That's a big plus for clustering chips together for training large models.
Right. Memory matters for scale.
And then there's NVIDIA's ecosystem, CUDA, TensorRT, software support, the huge developer community. That's a massive advantage that domestic Chinese companies are still working hard to build up.
So it's a trade-off. Lower price, bigger memory, mature ecosystem, but less raw compute power than Huawei's chip. It occupies that awkward gray area the report mentioned.
Exactly. Not powerful enough for the absolute cutting-edge models, but still better than some domestic options for specific tasks. This in-between status is likely why U.S. policy on exporting, it seems, well, a bit unclear or fluctuating at times.
There's demand in China for something better than domestic options for certain uses. But it's not so advanced it triggers immediate alarm bells like the H100.
That seems to be the thinking, yeah.
So, given these restrictions and uncertainty, how's China's domestic chip industry responding?
Several key responses. First, there's a huge surge in domestic demand for AI computing power, driven by models like DeepSeek. That creates a market even for suboptimal chips like H20 in the short term.
Okay.
More importantly, massive government support for domestic chip development policies, incentives, even defining place of die manufacturing as the origin to boost self-reliance. And domestic companies like Huawei, Cambricon, they're pouring money into R&D, focusing on things like heterogeneous computing, localization for specific Chinese needs, vertical applications where they can get an edge, plus strong domestic investment and lots of diverse AI application scenarios help drive this.
A multi-pronged response then meet immediate needs but invest heavily long-term in self-sufficiency. What did the analysis say about the U.S. strategy in this chip war?
It suggests maybe two things happening at once, almost contradictory. Allowing some supply of chips like H20 could be a delaying tactic.
How so?
Slow down China's push for total self-reliance by giving them something foreign, reducing the immediate urgency.
Okay.
But on the other hand, the broader restrictions on the most advanced tech are more like high-stakes gamble to prevent China from getting the cutting-edge power needed for major AI breakthroughs.
So a bit of carrot and a lot of stick.
Kind of. And the report notes the internal conflicts in the U.S. too, especially NVIDIA's huge revenue from China. A complete cutoff is painful for U.S. companies as well.
It's incredibly complex. But the main takeaway seems to be U.S. restrictions are actually pushing China faster towards independent chip innovation.
That certainly seems to be the effect, yes.
Okay, let's shift to something more forward-looking, maybe even more transformative: scientific intelligence. Zhang Yaqian introduced this idea of AI plus new science. What does he mean by new science here?
Well, according to Zhang Yakin, the new part is that AI models themselves are becoming a new form of knowledge. Especially these large models, they have this incredible ability to understand and find patterns in really complex, high-dimensional data stuff humans just can't process effectively.
So AI isn't just analyzing existing knowledge, it's generating new understanding, discovering patterns beyond human capability.
Precisely. Traditionally, AI in science was more for simulation, basic data analysis. Now, Zhang Yakin argues it's becoming a cornerstone of the whole inquiry process. It lets researchers explore these no-man's land areas of science that were just inaccessible before.
That's a profound shift. What AI tech is driving this scientific intelligence revolution.
Several key things converging: generative AI, large foundation models, multimodal pre-training, letting AI learn from text, images, data all at once.
Right.
Also, these sophisticated dry lab and wet lab loops integrating computation with physical experiments seamlessly, and increasingly autonomous learning where AI can even design and run experiments.
Wow. So it's multiple AI advances working together to change the scientific process itself. What specific opportunities does Zhang Yakin see coming from this?
They're huge, really.
Oh,
Technically, LLMs processing scientific literature, foundation models coordinating AI agents for collaborative research. Experimentally, that dry lab-wet lab integration, optimizing experiments, speeding up feedback loops.
okay.
Human-machine interaction changes, too. AI is much more sophisticated decision support. Lab automation advances, autonomous AI for discovery. And big opportunities in education and industry, new talent needs, new AI-driven industries.
The example of generative AI for molecular generation and drug discovery really stood out. It's way beyond just making images.
Exactly. Scientists are using generative AI alongside LLMs to design novel drug candidates with specific properties. Zhang Yakin sees a future fusion of models trained on language and models trained on biological data, leading to even more powerful scientific generative models.
And the idea of integrating tools and automated labs as plugins for AI, that suggests AI doing parts of the research autonomously.
That's the direction. The dry lab and wet lab loops are a perfect example. AI proposes experiments, robots run them, data feeds back to refine the AI models, guiding the next experiments. And the expert-in-the-loop approach for drug generation shows the collaboration. AI generates possibilities, human experts provide judgment and select the best leads.
Leading eventually to this vision of a foundational drug large model, a central AI constantly learning to speed up drug discovery.
Yes, that's the big vision. Foundational models in biomedicine, built on massive data and knowledge, integrated with those dry-wet loops, guided by experts. The potential to find and design new drugs much faster and more accurately is immense.
Zhang Yakin also mentioned AI innovation in biology, chemistry, material science.
Yeah, compelling examples. AI for protein engineering, antibody design, he drew parallels to NLP progress. Designing small molecules, enzymes speeding up virtual screening massively, and designing new materials like organic semiconductors.
It really sounds like scientific intelligence could revolutionize a whole range of sciences. What's needed to build the ecosystem for this AI plus new science approach?
Zhang Yakin outlined 5 key pillars: open platforms and infrastructure for scientific AI, more fundamental research on fusing AI and science, global academic networks and collaboration, strong industry partnerships, and incubators and VC networks to fund startups in this space. It needs a whole ecosystem.
He also singled out AI plus life science as particularly mature. Why is progress so fast there?
It's the data explosion, really. Gene sequencing, high-throughput experiments, sensors, generating unprecedented amounts of biological data. This is fueling what's being called health computing, AI, plus this massive data driving a revolution in life sciences and biomedicine.
But with all that sensitive biological data, privacy and ethics become even more critical, right?
Absolutely. Zhang Yakin specifically mentioned progress in trustworthy AI computing, highlighting things like federated learning.
Right, training models without centralizing raw data.
Exactly. It preserves privacy while still leveraging collective insights from distributed data sets. Crucial for this field.
What are the current research hotspots in AI plus life science?
Lots of exciting areas. AI for personalized health management, public health, AI in medical science for better diagnosis, treatment planning, AI speeding up drug discovery, definitely, and AI in gene analysis, even gene editing.
So much potential.
And building the specialized AI infrastructure data platforms, algorithms tailored for life sciences, plus flagship data sets and challenges are all key to fostering talent and progress.
AlphaFold 2 came up as a success story, predicting protein structures, a huge breakthrough.
AlphaFold 2 is a perfect example. A well-defined, tough scientific problem combined with a superior AI model leveraging big data and deep learning led to a massive leap forward. It's a blueprint for tackling other big life science challenges with AI.
Well, like
Things like predicting antigen interactions, precision oncology, personalized vaccine design, big areas.
Zhang Yakin also introduced this paradigm. Big model as a base, dry wet loop, knowledge plus data dual drive for drug R&D. Can you break that down?
It emphasizes building those large foundational AI models trained on biomedical data and knowledge, then integrating them iteratively with computational design, dry lab, and physical validation, wet lab, in a closed loop.
Okay.
It uses both existing scientific knowledge and new experimental data to accelerate the whole drug pipeline. He gave examples from Tsinghua's AIR BiomaGPT, drug lip for screening, Helix and design for antibodies, even the Asian hospital.
The Asian hospital. That sounds futuristic. AI doctors learning in simulations.
It's a compelling vision for training, research, maybe even practice eventually. The overall potential to slash the time and cost of drug development using these AI approaches is just immense, game-changing for healthcare.
Zhang also mentioned this sort of mysterious connection between gene science and information science. What's the idea there?
He pointed out the similarities in how both fields deal with storing, transferring, processing information. DNA uses its four-letter code like computers use binary. There's even a kind of syntax in gene expression like language.
Right.
So AI is seen as a tool to help us finally decode the complex language of life in our genomes.
And the GeneBERT project was an example of this, combining genomics and large language models.
Exactly. GeneBERT bridged genomics and NLP, leading to big advances in understanding non-coding DNA, the vast majority of our genome that was poorly understood.
Okay.
This helps find new drug targets, understand diseases better. It really shows AI breaking down walls between disciplines.
It paints a picture of a massive transformation in biology, driven by digitization, automation, and intelligent computing. Okay, let's shift focus again, this time to Europe. The EU's Artificial Intelligence Continental Action Plan. What are the main goals there?
Right, launched April 9th, 2025. The big goal is positioning Europe as a global AI leader. It builds on Ursula von der Leyen's vision, aiming to leverage Europe's industrial strengths and talent pool.
A coordinated strategy, then. What are the key parts of the plan?
5 core areas. 1, expanding AI infrastructure, building AI factories and AI super factories with lots of advanced chips.
Okay.
2, opening up data resources, a data alliance strategy, data labs in those AI factories. 3, promoting AI adoption in public and private sectors, addressing the currently lower adoption rate in Europe.
Makes sense.
4, building talent systems, recruitment plans, training, AI skills academies. And 5, optimizing the regulatory framework with an AI Act service desk to help businesses navigate the rules.
Ambitious targets, too.
Yeah, attracting $20 billion in private AI investment and tripling data center capacity by 2032 shows a serious long-term commitment.
Definitely putting their marker down. Okay, moving to another critical area, AI literacy. Zhang Bo emphasized the urgent need for this, especially for young students, feels increasingly vital.
Absolutely. Zhang Bo pointed to the Ministry of Education's plans for popularizing AI education with goals for primary and secondary schools by 2030.
And we're seeing local action, too.
Yeah, places like Beijing, Guangdong have specific plans, integrating AI into curricula, dedicated class hours, focusing on core AI competencies for kids.
So it's more than just coding, it's broader understanding. What are Zhang Bo's key objectives for AI literacy?
3 main things. 1, ensuring kids get a correct, nuanced understanding of AI capabilities, limits, potential.
Right.
2, fostering their curiosity and problem-solving skills. Tech advances actually demand more human ingenuity. And 3, equipping them to use AI reasonably, effectively, ethically.
That sounds like a really good balanced approach. Critical thinking, responsible use. Tsinghua's AI General Education Research Center, AIGE. That seems like a big step, too.
It is. Professor Yin Xia from Tsinghua explained AIGE aims to leverage the university's resources to guide public and youth understanding of AI, building foundational knowledge, cultivating future talent.
But Du Jinping pointed out it's complex to implement AI education widely, right? Not just about designing a curriculum.
Exactly. Du Jinping highlighted the challenges, getting AI scientists, education experts, teachers working together on materials, how to assess teaching quality without overburdening students, training teachers constantly as AI evolves so fast.
Yeah, teacher training must be huge.
And integrating AI literacy into talent selection, plus needing collaboration between schools, research bodies, nonprofits, industry. It's a big, complex undertaking.
It definitely requires a coordinated effort. The recent release of that Tsinghua curriculum system for AI general education across different school levels sounds like a tangible step forward in creating that framework.
Yep.
Okay, now for something that feels really transformative for work. AI agents. Brett Taylor, OpenAI chair, Sierra CEO, has this compelling view that agents are becoming roles in organizations, not just tools.
This is a really profound idea, potentially disruptive. Taylor argues we're moving past using AI just for efficiency gains. Now, agents are rewriting organizational structures, potentially replacing traditional human roles.
And the key difference is between an assistant, a tool, and an agent, an autonomous role.
That's the core distinction. An agent can reason, judge, execute complex tasks autonomously, not just help you do things faster, but take ownership of entire processes.
Like at his company, Sierra.
Yeah, he uses Sierra as an example. Agents interact directly with customers, process refunds, orders, break down tasks, decide who or what needs to be involved. He stresses they're deploying digital employees, not just fancy chatbots.
He mentioned 3 typical agent roles: personal, persona, replacing professional roles, and brand-facing, customer interaction. And the key is, this changes the structure, not just customer service.
Exactly. He gave that insurance example. An agent handles the whole policy cancellation end-to-end, no human needed, but following all the rules.
Wow.
Taylor's argument is that understanding agents is the new cognitive threshold for competitive advantage. It's moving from automating processes with software to rewriting organizations with agents.
Comparing traditional roles in teams to agents as programmable role units forming an AI agent network.
Right.
That's a radical way to think about company structure.
It really is. And like human employees, agents need objectives, permissions, evaluation mechanisms. Future competition, he says, is about who integrates agents into their role system first.
Leading to better customer ops, 24/7 availability, continuous self-improvement from the agent's learning.
That's the idea. He distinguishes tool users, followers, from leaders who grasp this agent-based structure. It's a shift from tool-centric efficiency to structure-centric AI as roles, nodes, system variables.
And Sierra's pricing model, based on completed tasks by agents, not SaaS licenses, really highlights that shift, doesn't it? Focus on outcomes.
Absolutely. It aligns cost with results. That e-commerce return example, one agent handling the whole thing, potentially replacing multiple human roles, makes it very concrete.
Taylor argued agents belong in financial and strategic discussions, not just IT. And that case study, 2 humans plus 1 agent outperforming a 10-person team, that's striking.
Very striking. And the list of roles agents can replace, scheduling, support, data entry, shows the breadth. But he also warned about installed but useless AI.
Right, adopting AI without changing processes or empowering the agents. What are the pitfalls?
3 common ones: not letting agents decide, not dismantling old processes, and not assigning responsibility for agent outcomes. His analogy, introducing an agent, is like hiring someone, needing clear roles and authority, is spot on.
Makes sense. He posed 5 key questions organizations need to ask before deploying agents effectively. It requires rethinking workflows. And the CEO's role changing from managing people to orchestrating people and agents.
Yeah.
That's a big shift.
Huge shift. Thinking like a network manager. Introducing intelligent resources, IR, alongside HR.
And crucially, not managing agents like people with unnecessary bureaucracy. CEOs need to think like engineers, architects, designing these AI-integrated organizations.
Right. He outlined 3 new CEO skills.
Yeah.
Role architect, collaboration pathfinder, network operator. And a new KPI, company efficiency equals human efficiency plus agent efficiency plus collaboration efficiency.
That collaboration efficiency part is key.
Yeah.
He even told that story about an agent contributing in a team meeting, like a real team member.
Yeah, illustrating that deep integration. His conclusion is powerful. Building agents, not just deploying models, is the differentiator. Organizations will be reordered by their understanding of agents. The focus shifts from faster work to more accurate work, better outcomes. It really makes you think, are you becoming a system designer or being rewritten by AI?
Definitely food for thought. Okay, lastly, let's touch on some recent tech advancements. Microsoft's open-source BitNet. Sounds very efficient.
It does. Described as highly efficient, potentially DeepSeek-level impact, developed by a Chinese team at Microsoft Research Asia. Faster, way less memory, like 16th of Quinn, apparently.
Dramatic efficiency. What are the key specs?
2 billion parameters, trained on 4 trillion tokens, needs only 0.4 GB memory, runs on CPUs like Apple's M2.
And performance.
Reportedly near parity with much larger full-precision models on language reasoning coding benchmarks. Sometimes even beats bigger models like Llama 3.21b, Gemma 3.1b, Quinn 2.5, 1.5b on certain tasks.
Wow. Performance way above its weight class then. The speed and memory games sound huge.
Yeah, faster CPU inference, tiny memory footprint, critical for edge devices. They even say a 100B parameter version could run on a single CPU near human reading speed. That really opens up local LLM deployments.
So how does it achieve this? What's the core innovation?
It replaces standard full precision layers with custom bit linear layers. This compresses weights down to just 1.58 bits, using only values near 1, 0, or 1.
1.58 bits, that's extreme compression.
It is. They use an absolute mean quantization scheme. Pack these ternary weights into 8-bit integers, apply absolute max quantization per token, and crucially, they trained it from scratch this way, not post-training compression.
Training from scratch at such low precision must have been tough. Did they use other tricks?
Oh, yeah. Incorporated other standard LLM techniques, specific activations, positional embeddings, bias elimination to maintain performance and stability despite the quantization. Training was multi-stage. Pre-training, supervised fine-tuning, SFT, then direct preference optimization, DPO.
And they needed a special inference framework, bitnet.cpp, based on llama.cpp.
What? Because standard GPUs aren't optimized for these super low-precision ternary weight models. Bitnet.cpp provides optimized software kernels to run these efficiently on target hardware, mainly CPUs, ensuring speed and accuracy, and worked. Evaluations on ARM, Apple M2, and by86 Intel CPUs showed significant speedups and energy savings compared to llama.cpp running traditional models. Especially good on Apple M2, probably due to memory bandwidth.
So the custom software is essential to unlock the hardware's potential here. But the report noted limitations, like no GPU support yet in bitnet.cpp.
That's true for now, but Microsoft says they're working on extending bitnet.cpp to more platforms, mobile, NPUs, even GPUs eventually, and continuing R&D on optimizing 1-bit training.
So overall, bitnet sounds like a really promising proof of concept. Challenges the need for full precision weights, opens doors for powerful AI on constrained devices, democratizing access, and future research could scale it, add languages, multimodal. Lots of potential.
Definitely a space to watch. It could really change the game for edge AI.
Okay, one final quick point. That meeting between Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng and NVIDIA CEO Huang Rangson, what were the key messages?
Well, on April 17th, He Lifeng basically reiterated China's message. Still fertile ground for foreign investment, huge market potential for tech transformation like AI. An invitation for U.S. firms, including NVIDIA, to deepen involvement in China, gain competitive edge globally.
And Huang Rangson's response?
Reportedly positive on China's prospects, committed to cultivating the Chinese market, contributing to U.S.-China economic cooperation.
So despite the chip complexities, still signals of desire for engagement, collaboration at that level.
That seems so, yes. Keeping lines open, exploring possibilities.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into AI trends and policies from a China perspective.
Right.
Certainly covered a lot of ground.
We really did. From AI in education, DeepSeek's open source disruption, the U.S.-China chip complexities, scientific intelligence, the EU's plan, AI literacy, the agent revolution, right up to BitNet's efficiency breakthroughs.
And circling back to those initial questions, we saw how China's integrating AI in education while navigating chip issues and boosting domestic capacity. And those AI agents certainly suggest a fundamental shift in how organizations might work, far beyond basic automation.
Absolutely.
So considering everything we've explored, the rapid tech shifts, the policy moves, the strategic plays, what do you, our listener, think is next? What's the next big turning point in global AI, and how will China's unique approach keep shaping it?
Definitely a lot to chew on.
For sure. It's a fascinating and incredibly fast-moving space. If any specific topic we discussed caught your interest, we definitely encourage you to explore further. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.